This talk is important because it's about if you want to start on Polkadot, where do you start? Where do you go?
There's a whole bunch of projects that are building on Polkadot within the Polkadot ecosystem. What kind of builders, though, are we talking about? So, for me, there's two broad categories of builders, and I present it like this, which might sound dumb if there's a majority of like coders in the room, but you've got people who write code or people who let other people write code, right? And it's not because you write code that you're a god necessarily. Um, there is an incredibly important class of builders in this ecosystem, and in all of Web3 ecosystem, I would say, who are more of the thought leaders and visionaries, right? So if you're a builder in this space, you shouldn't think that, oh, because you don't write code, like you're not um, able to build things. So we're talking about visionary people, partnerships, people that are literally going out there to make partnerships such that the code that's written can be used and useful, right? These are important. This is an important class of builders. People doing research, designers thinking about UX. Of course, if you write code, you're probably in broad categories again. A core developer, so somebody that's entertained and exhilarated by improving core protocol stuff. Um, People that are creating dedicated blockchains or smart contract developers, for instance. Um, or you do both. And if you do both, like, well, you're just a genius. But no, really, like, I think that my point in starting this off is there's a lot of opportunity to build things without actually being one or the other. Yeah, okay, 4 minutes. Um, so, so when it comes to writing code, this is a little picture I put together that kind of like illustrates the Polkadot tech stack. So if you are writing code in the Polkadot ecosystem, you're maybe somebody who is doing like the app chain stuff, right? Writing runtimes, we say in the Polkadot lingo, i.e., like writing the state transition function logic of your dedicated blockchain. You're maybe writing cross-chain code, code that is meant to execute between chains, and you're very much focused on the connectivity aspect, on this beauty of having a multi-chain future where you can compose services from specialized blockchains. You could also be writing smart contracts. I think there's a misconception that a lot of blockchain development means you're just deploying a smart contract and doing a UI on top of it. It is one of the components, but I put it up there because we're in Polkadot world where the future is multi-chain. We have dedicated blockchains. So the very first layer is the app chain layer. Chain APIs, just think, RPC interfaces to interact with these blockchains. So think front end, skipping things through. Um, Now, we got the basics, so type of coder, type of builder, and I want to put a little bit of emphasis that I would say there's kind of two classes of people building stuff in the ecosystem. There's people that are helping the network itself prosper with core protocol upgrades, with features that make these the core protocol more useful, more usable. And then there's all of the things that require the network, right? So think using the service of Polkadot. Polkadot is a decentralized compute machine that provides a service, which is finality for app chains. Well, in the second class, this is the category of you're an app chain that just needs that as a service. So so some examples are core tech, like infrastructure, like writing libraries to make it easier to develop app chains. Right now, there's only one library that's being used in production, and it's a Rust-based library. It could be cool to have new ways uh, to bring more developers into the ecosystem, and this would benefit Polkadot itself. Um, Protocol development, but it also includes engaging with core system functionality like governance. It also includes better ways to do things like set your on-chain identity, stake, whatever, things that are core to the Polkadot protocol itself. But then, like we're talking about on Polkadot, we can think more about things that require Polkadot to run. So app chains, smart contracts, in this new future that is being paved in Polkadot's vision, any state machine that requires finality can use Polkadot. So that also means that as a builder, you can get creative. You can have sort of an app chain that uses the Polkadot resource only like 5 times a week, and your business model is around actually paying for that service, but only 5 times a week. So this is this new model of using Polkadot, and you would be building on the network, but not necessarily for the core protocol. So that's the nuance I want to give. So the Polkadot SDK is really at the heart of all of this. A lot of the workshops that are happening throughout the week focus in on the Polkadot SDK. It's a Rust-based library to build blockchains. Blockchains that can be standalone chains, or blockchains that can connect to Polkadot, in a nutshell. So what has been built? Different blockchains, literally. Like that's like I would say that the biggest thing that's been the biggest builder space, the most active builder space in Polkadot is builders building their own app chains. But again, there's the nuance, because there's app chains that are core to Polkadot. We call them system chains. These are chains that have DOT as their native currency, and also are controlled by the relay chain governance, so the main Polkadot blockchain governance. But then you have all sorts of app chains that are just people building chains that can permissionlessly use Polkadot. So just this slide is illustrating some system chains. So we have the asset chain and a bridge hub chain, dedicated chains that are there really to help Polkadot as a network prosper. Yes. What has been built? This really cool thing called Aleph0. It's a standalone blockchain that's built with Substrate, and it has its own consensus mechanism. It is not connected to Polkadot. So, like from an end user perspective, you can't bring DOT into Aleph0. It's its own thing. It's kind of isolated. Well, that's been built with the Polkadot SDK. It's a smart contract platform that is doing really cool stuff in zero knowledge proof stuff, and but the point is, it's a solo chain. Yes. Another really cool thing that's been built on Polkadot is this thing called OpenGov. It's just a series of substrate modules, i.e. like Rust crates that define the state transition function logic of the Polkadot relay chain. And OpenGov is this DAO. We talked a lot about this today, but it's this feature or product that is an entry point for ecosystem agents to interact with Polkadot on things like governance, voting, on things like treasury proposals for spending money, on things like core protocol upgrades. One of the things we talked about today is how Polkadot can upgrade without forking, right? Forking community and forking features. That's a really neat thing. OpenGov literally is a series of palettes. So then we can think, what can be built? A bunch of things. What can you build with an app chain SDK? If you can change the cryptography, you can create your own consensus mechanism. You can create your own transaction pool logic. You can really build any type of layer 1, layer 2 chain. So I leave it up to you. It's possible to build a UTXO-based chain with the Polkadot SDK. So how to get involved? Well, let's chat more, because I've done so much talking, and if you guys want to if you have specific interests on how to get involved, let me know. But I will call out that the best place to really know what's kind of the state of the art, like what is happening in the ecosystem. Sorry, not the state of the art, but like the most up-to-date, fresh conversations about really, really cool things that are happening in the ecosystem. Go to the Polkadot forum. It's a great place to learn about this stuff more. The Polkadot Developer Heroes Program. If you're a developer and you want to join an army of other developers that are there to offer their expertise and help you learn stuff, but also then gives you an opportunity to become a mentor yourself, join the Developer Heroes Program. It's a great place to also learn by doing. And a bunch of things regarding getting financial support, getting grants, and like education. So, for instance, you can propose to get funding for, I don't know, maybe it's a Telegram bot to help users read governance proposals that they're interested in, and you can make a proposal that says, hey, like this is going to cost me $300,000, and put it on chain and see what the community thinks about it and get that funding. Or you could actually go to the Web3 Foundation, which has an amazing grants program where they're a lot less, or they're a lot more open to things that can benefit Web3 in general. So a lot of funding and support in the Polkadot ecosystem. Learning resources, go to the Polkadot wiki. That's a great place to start. Literally Google Polkadot wiki. And it's nicely organized where it's like if you're a node operator or builder or a maintainer or just a kind of, I want to learn about Polkadot kind of person, great place to start. There's a bunch of Web3 Foundation edX courses I recommend. And the Substrate Developers Hub is also a good place if you're learning to write your own app chains. Thank you.